Lynch. 2 seconds, 1 second. Kobe pump fake. Kobe for the win. Kobe the dagger.
2. He loops out to left field. Going to be a tough play. Jeter on the run, makes the play, and flies into the stands. Oh, what a play by Derek Jeter.
Roethlisberger has time, throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Holmes.
This is the Personal Foul Podcast. Got a special draft show for you guys this week. Brought in a whole bunch of the Sports Opinions Podcast Network. We're going to start off with Alex Cuesta from the Sports Opinions Podcast in Cuesta Dos. Alex, we just ran it back a few days ago. Thanks for coming on again, buddy.
What's going on, man? You know, you just keep on pumping out the good ideas. I keep on benefiting from your good ideas, and the brand does. So keep doing it. Colt, happy to be here as always.
Yes, man. Let's keep this thing going. We got something good going on here with the Sports Opinions Network. Next up from the Cuesta Dos, David Cuesta, first time on the Sports Opinions Podcast, bringing everyone together. Dave, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yes, it's always fun to be here. And did you say they ran it back last time with him? Because I feel, wasn't that your first time doing like a special with him? That's not really running it back, Colt.
Well, we're running it back today, aren't we, Dave?
We are running it back today, but not last time. I just want to correct that real quick.
I
Already so aggressive, David.
I hate you. Next up, Kyle Doctor from the We Are Young But Just Us podcast, also part of the Sports Opinions Network. K-Doc, thanks for coming on short notice, buddy.
No problem. It's kind of my fault. I would have agreed on a lot earlier, but I didn't know it was happening until today. I prepared best I can. I'll believe it.
I tried.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yes, sir.
All my fault. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Last but especially not least, Matt Santos coming on as a special guest. Matt Santos, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, bro. It's good to be here. I'm just kind of sports opinion freeloader, I feel like, you know.
Yeah, you are, man. You'll come in when needed.
I've told you you are more than willing to get your own show, and you refuse to want to do your own show. So I'm calling.
I don't want to be by myself, and Joe and Rob didn't want me. So it's okay.
Yes, look. There's 3 people here that do guests quite
no.
shows.
No. All
right, we're gonna get on. We'll talk to Matt later. Go ahead. This is your ballpark, Colt.
Yes, sir, it is. This is my rodeo. But, yeah, we're going to start this off doing a whole rundown of all the teams here in the first round. Starting off, I have the AFC North. First, we're going to start off with the Cincinnati Bengals at 1. I think this is clear and obvious what goes on here. It's a no-brainer. They're going to go Joe Burrow. They have a very good offense with A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. Their O-line's a problem, which I think they address later on in the draft, second round with Cesar Ruiz, possibly out of Michigan. First round, no-brainer here, Joe Burrow at 1. Next up, you got the Redskins at 2. K-Doc, what do you see the Redskins doing here? I think it's clear as day, Chase Young, but what do you think they go on here? What are their needs here with the Redskins?
Well, owner. But if they can't really fix that with the draft, so the owner can't happen. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, defense, and then as a young organization – I think you got to go. It's number 2 pick. You got to go Chase Young. I feel like if you're a little bit lower, I go offensive line, and I'll get back to my offensive line pick with another team coming up soon. But I think you got to go defensive end. And since you said no players, I'll leave it at defensive end.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Sorry, just trolling. But yes, Chase Young. They have to go. It's a no-brainer.
I do think Chase Young does go number 2 here. I think it's a no-brainer. Ron Rivera, defensive guy coming in with a fresh new system in Washington. I think it goes Chase Young. Number 3, I think right here, I have the Detroit Lions, where things get very interesting, possibly trading up, trading back for the Detroit Lions. They just get rid of Darius Slay in the offseason, trade him to Philly. Do they go Jeffrey Okudah here? Isaiah Simmons? I'm not sure what Detroit does here. Possible trade back. If not, going defense either way you slice it if it's Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio
Now,
State.
Cole, quick question. Did you see anything about them possibly getting rid of Stafford and maybe going quarterback here, maybe trying to do something that way?
There was a lot of talks I saw going kind of leading up to the draft, not as of late because I think they're staying away from the whole drafting a quarterback. I did see rumors of that, possibly trading away Stafford, starting fresh with Tua here. I don't see it. I think Stafford's still young enough. But the problem is that defense is not good. So I kind of understand now possibly drafting a quarterback, shipping away Stafford, but I just don't see them doing it. Patricia's on a short leash now. This is it. I think he's done after the season regardless. It's not going to be a success there. But next up,
Tua's gonna
Kyle
win
Doctor.
13.
I hate you, please.
Nobody
Kyle Doctor,
likes
you're up at the
Tua.
Giants. What do you think the Giants do here at 4?
I'm looking at David. Sorry. I think it's obvious. This one's it might not be so obvious. I just think, or might be. I haven't really been following much news, but I think you got to go offensive line. You have the tools with. I know a lot of there's defensive questions, but I feel like you have to shore up the offensive line for the Giants. You have, I think, literally the best running back. Again, it's up for debate, but he is up for debate. Like, he's in every debate for the best running back right now. And you got to give him holes. You got to give Daniel Jones time. You've set up your weapons. Now you got to set up the Great Wall of the Meadowlands. Basically, I think it's a no-brainer.
Next up, we got the Dolphins. Doc, I agree with you on that also, buddy.
Who's got the Dolphins?
Oh shit, my bad.
Jeez, AMC's
Welcome to the show, Matt Santos.
Sorry. So it has to be a quarterback, and I hope it's Tua, because anybody who has eyes would pick Tua over Herbert. I don't know what. I can't hear you. There we go. So I don't know why they would waste their time picking Herbert here. I get that he's the safer pick, but when you watch the tape with Tua, the accuracy is something you cannot teach, and college QBs aren't accurate to begin with. So, I mean, why are we gonna? He could be Marino again. I mean, maybe a win. It doesn't have to be as good as Marino. He has to win.
Yeah.
But let's be honest. But I think you have to go Tua.
Yep.
I have to agree with you on that. Yes, at least either Herbert or Tua. I have to agree. I think Tua is the safer pick. I get the injury-wise. You can go Herbert playing safer with the injuries. I think Tua's the better pick here. They addressed
Love
the
is
defense
better
this
than both.
offseason. I hate you.
I think
a little bit later.
All right, anyway.
We'll get into that a little bit later. Next up, we got the next LA team came out, fresh jerseys today. Probably the best uni group out of all the NFL.
Without a doubt.
It's really good.
Really good. Very fresh, very fresh.
They
Gonna go
pay
with the LA Chargers.
history in every single part of their uniforms. It's awesome.
Nah, for sure. Next up, we got the LA Chargers. I got the Chargers also. I think they go whoever's left here, either Herbert or Tua, whoever's sitting here. They might also go Love. I don't see it, though. I think it's going Tua or Herbert. One of those guys is going here. Possibly sitting behind Tyrod Taylor. They got a very good defense. Chris Harris comes over in free agency. Derwin James coming back healthy this season. I think they're very fine on the defensive end. Great pass rush still with Ingram and Bosa. I think it goes Tua or Herbert here. Next up, we got Carolina at 7.
Yep, and that's me. First of all, I'd like to say hello. Everyone say hello to Corona. Can we have a little bit, because they stopped producing beer? I feel really bad for them right now. I'm going to drink for that.
Are they sponsoring us, or you just?
Dude, come on, bro. Buy America. Buy America. Come on.
You were drinking Honey Browns before. Quiet. Anyway.
By Kurt Angle.
Got Carolina. So, first of all, we know that Cam Newton is gone. So, that's a big deal. Teddy Bridgewater came in. They signed P.J. Walker. That was a big splash. So, when you think that they might need a quarterback here, they don't, because they trust those two guys. So what they really need right now is to shore up the defense. They've lost a defensive starter at basically every single level. Kuechly retiring, Bradbury on the corner, safety they got rid of. They released the safety, D-line. So right now, from what I've seen, I kind of did my metric, and I think Dave did it a similar way. I looked at like 10 different mock drafts, kind of looked at the names, looked at the positions and how they did it, and kind of took into account what they needed there. So all intents and purposes, it's looking like D-line, and I see Derek Brown is kind of the consensus guy here. But then you have Isaiah Simmons, who's basically the consensus best athlete of the whole entire. He's kind of your Minkah Fitzpatrick, Honey Badger. We mentioned Derwin James type of guy. So either one of those two guys can go off the board here. So I'm thinking it's either D-line or linebacker, but Carolina addresses something in the defensive front seven with this pick.
For sure. I think Carolina has a bunch of ways they can go. Even offensive line here to protect Teddy Bridgewater they brought over this offseason. Next up, we got Arizona. Dave, you got the Cardinals. What do you got? What's going on with Arizona?
I'm finally doing something here. I was waiting for a very long time. But, yeah, no, my brother was right. I did have that whole process done, but a couple technical issues happened, so it's not as in-depth as it once was. But Arizona, I either see them helping Kyler Murray on the offensive line, give him some more time back there. But also, their defense is terrible. I've seen Isaiah Simmons thrown around for them a lot too. Yep. So I can see them either picking him up or picking up like any sort of linebacker, someone to help on the defense for that Cardinals team.
I really can't see Isaiah Simmons falling that far.
No,
people are saying that he's the best defensive player in the whole draft.
I know that.
Everything I saw is Cardinals are the floor for Isaiah Simmons. That's the exact going to go.
I was thinking,
highest, obviously.
And this is kind of off topic, but what if this happens? What if the Dolphins feel the need to trade up? So they trade to third. You got the Lions at fifth. Would the Giants take Okudah at that point?
I don't see it happening with. I don't see it happening.
I mean, Bradbury and Okudah,
well, they have Baker from. They have Baker. But they have Baker from last year, though. They have Baker last year, who they traded back into the first round of the Giants to get Baker from Georgia, who's the best corner.
So quick,
I
crazy
think if you're the
theory
Giants, since they were my team, I think you just gotta go. If I was young Gettleman, offensive line, you gotta shore up the offensive line. They gotta shore up the line. I feel like the trading around could mess with that and get some really shiny players, shiny toys to have. But I feel like you have to fulfill the needs to make those two guys that drive the offense work. They need to.
So Matt, let me jump in real quick. Crazy theory that guy you used to hear on Sports Opinions podcast, the Million Lira Man, told me today. He said that Belichick is a massive Daniel Jones guy, and the Giants really like the guys that are standing around. So he's saying that he thinks Belichick figures out a way to trade for Daniel Jones, and the Giants pick up Justin Herbert. Digest that.
No.
We'll stop. Move on to the next pick.
We're going on to Jacksonville. Alex, you're up. Yes, you're up with Jacksonville. Okay. We're not going into that. No, we're staying on this. Alex, you were up with Jacksonville.
All right, so Jacksonville, looking up Jacksonville, they don't know what the hell they're doing. They went from having the best defense in football 2 years ago and quite literally an almost all-pro at every single level. One of the best corner tandems with Jalen Ramsey and AJ Bouye. And now AJ Bouye and Jalen Ramsey are both gone. From everything I saw, a lot of people think that cornerback is the way to go here for the Jags. They can do a lot of things. There is possibly every big name in the draft is on the list here. The guy more than likely that I see is them taking a chance on CJ Henderson. That was the name that I saw pop up the most in this position. Big, long, athletic, would definitely be a starter. So I'm thinking corner here is the most likely pick at 9. They also have a pick at 20. So there's the option of maybe trading number 9 here to get something, but I see them picking a guy here because they have way too many needs to mess around.
For sure. I think they have a ton of needs, as you mentioned. They trade away AJ Bouye for a bag of chips, a 5th-round draft pick for a guy you spent a lot of money on. Crazy to think. Lord knows what Jacksonville's doing.
Was it at least Cooler Ranch Doritos?
No, it was a bad bag of chips. It was an awful bag of chips.
It was some chips.
Utz brand. Utz.
Oh my gosh, I hate you. We're going to continue on this, but yes, I think they go best available here. Whatever is best in their mind, I think they go with at 9. To finish out the top 10, I got the Browns. Browns have a lot of needs. They brought in Jack Conklin this offseason. I think they continue to try to protect Baker. I think they go offensive line here. I wouldn't be surprised if they go something defensively, but I do see them going offensive line here. More specifically, tackle. There's a bunch of them in this draft. I think they go to the other side to protect his blind side, with Conklin probably staying on the right side. I think the Browns do that. Next up, we have the Jets. Jets guys in this chat. We got the Jets up here.
Plenty of them.
At 11.
No.
David, you should have worn the Just Endure the Suffering shirt. I don't know what you're doing right now.
That's a shirt. I haven't seen that.
Go ahead. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, Matt, what do you got here?
So this is where the draft gets really sticky, let's be honest, because picks right before it could be traded, and that's going to change what the Jets do a lot. There's a lot of good offensive linemen in the beginning of this draft. I think it's really up to which ones they like better. I think if the Giants go O-line, it's going to be Tristan Wirfs, who I think is the best O-lineman. So for the Jets, I think if Jedrick Wills is there from Alabama, you definitely have to take him. Personally, I think he's the best tackle. But the Thomas, I think Joe Thomas from UGA, he could play both tackle positions, so that's another good pick. But the wide receivers are still sitting there. So it makes for an interesting, conversation for the Jets to have, because if teams jump them to get those offensive linemen or to get those wide receivers, but say they jump to get the offensive linemen, do you take CD Lamb? Do you take Griggs? Do you take Judy? I mean, the Jets really have to try to mess this pick up because it's so obvious
You challenge
the two positions you need. So, I mean, as a Jets fan, I really hope. I just
get a defensive tackle.
I don't want either. I don't care who it is. I just want one of those two positions.
Yep,
I think it's very hard for the Jets to mess this one up. The Jets are I say this like the Giants. The Giants are in a good spot at 4. I think the Jets are in a really good spot here. They're either getting one of the best receivers in this draft class with Judy or CeeDee Lamb or Ruggs, wherever the Jets grade these guys, or a really, really good offensive lineman to help protect Sam Darnold. I think the Jets have to blow this to have a bad draft. They're going to get a great pick here, either way you slice it. Next up, Alex, you got the Las Vegas Raiders with their first pick out of
Vegas.
Oh, my.
So things are interesting, like Matt said, at this point in the draft, because I saw a bunch of mock drafts that said, Jets and Raiders are both in position, either get CeeDee Lamb and Jerry Jeudy. Whoever they value more was probably what they were going to go with. But this doesn't account for a lot of the mock drafts said the Broncos want one of those two guys, and they are very likely to jump up ahead of the Jets or Raiders. Yeah. So it's super interesting. If all things are chalk, then I saw a lot of CeeDee Lamb because I saw a lot of mock drafts saying the Jets probably want the more complete player in Jeudy. So CeeDee Lamb's here. So I think the Raiders' top priority is wide receiver. They need to get a guy. They wanted Antonio Brown to be the guy. Obviously, that didn't work last year. So the pick here is going to be wide receiver. It's going to be whoever is left. Now, I don't know how high they are on Ruggs. So if the Broncos do jump ahead of the Jets and the Raiders and pick a Jeudy or a Lamb, what do the Raiders do there? Do they try and jump the Jets? Do they try and trade with the Jets and give them the world? Like, it could be really sticky. All things stay chalk. It's a wide receiver. It's either Lamb or Jeudy. Those are the only two picks that the Raiders can make right now.
I have to agree with you. At the same time, Denver could hop up. Yeah. And if they like one of these guys, if they like a Ruggs, possibly who's the third out of those two guys with Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb.
He's getting a lot of play late. Ruggs is getting a big push late.
Yes, he is. No, you're good. Go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
What I've noticed is Jeudy is getting the late pushback, though. Like, Jeudy was getting trashed a week ago, and Ruggs was real high, and then it was Lamb, and now it's just going full circle back to Jeudy, which leads me to believe he's the best wide receiver in the draft.
I'm sorry, just because I haven't paid attention to anything. The last time I heard was that he was the overall, the best wide receiver in the draft. What happened? I'm totally lost. Why was he getting?
It's going full circle.
Ruggs is fast.
They're more explosive than Jeudy, but Jeudy is probably the best overall guy.
Yes.
In terms of the best guys, Jeudy, but Lamb and Ruggs are home run hitters.
And they're worried Jeudy isn't as dedicated. They think he's a little overweight too. So
Doc, it's the same concerns everyone had with Cooper, outside of the fact that he was amazing. That
Amari Cooper's fat, bro.
But I'm saying that Amari Cooper might have not been as dedicated, and it's a similar situation. And now you have him for $100 million, Doc.
So next, listen now. Let's keep this train going here. Let's keep this train rolling here. Dave, you're up here with San Fran. Yep. They have a lot of decisions or talks here about possibly trading out because they got nothing after the first round. What do you think goes on here with San Fran?
I think they're most likely going to trade out. But one thing, we're talking a lot about trades. I think we're kind of forgetting that this is going to be basically held over a call like this. So I don't know if we see a trade go badly because of the way that they're doing it.
I can't
this
wait
year.
for hot mics.
I think we're going to see a lot of trades not happen because they're very worried about how it could go wrong with poor communication. But
Did you guys see what Gettleman did? He's an idiot. Oh, yeah. Jones, Jerry, the mic's on. Oh, sorry, Dave.
but letting all things go the way they're supposed to on draft night, I think San Francisco would trade out of this. They don't really need this 13th pick. They can get other things for it. But right now, Emmanuel Sanders left them. So they're looking for at least another wide receiver that can fill that hole that Sanders left, because Sanders was very reliable for Jimmy G. He liked Sanders a lot. So I think we can maybe see him go wide receiver. The O-line is getting a little older. It's still very good, so maybe they might try to add some depth there. Other than that, San Francisco is a very complete team. It's very hard to see them doing a lot in the first round other than trading out.
Yeah, I think they have a bunch of ways to go, San Fran. As you touched on, they're trying to get out. Same time, they do need a receiver. So if you trade back here, you're not getting that number one guy, one of those top three. I think where they're at now, they're going to get one of those top three. So if anything they try trading out, I think it's that later first-round pick.
Yeah.
But if they do trade out here, they have to get multiple picks in the second round, third round, because they need a receiver. And if you take picks in the fourth, fifth, sixth, they're not going to fill the need at wide receiver that you need to pair with Deebo Samuel. Next up, we got Tampa. Tampa making some big moves, bringing over Tom Brady. Clearly, Gronkowski, if he passes a physical today. Holy crap. Brady complains about receivers and weapons. Man, he is loaded here in Tampa. Tampa, what do you got going on here? This is crazy stuff going on here.
Apparently he was working out with Tom Brady and the Bucks already. Well before any of this. This was all
that's got to be illegal.
Probably, but who cares? Honestly, this makes OJ Howard irrelevant. Completely irrelevant, but the only thing that they need to do is protect Tom Brady. That offensive line isn't awful. It wasn't bad. They have three.
The inside's very good. On the
interior's good, and they have a decent left tackle. The issue was, and as much as we love Jameis Winston, our group loves him. He got his eyes fixed finally. He didn't realize that there were linebackers are allowed to drop back and play coverage. He forgot to realize that. So 30 interceptions went his way. He made history the wrong way. So the only way that the Bucs can go right now, though, is to protect. I saw quite literally, I looked at 10 mock drafts, like I said. Eight of them said O-line. That's where you go. Matt mentioned him before. Andrew Thomas has been the guy that everyone threw around. He is right away going to plug in at right tackle. Their right tackle's contract is up. They're starting right tackle. So you can plug him in right away. He'll eventually slide to left tackle. He has that type of talent. Everyone said that he might not have the highest ceiling out of everybody, but he's probably the most pro-ready right now. So that's where I think they go. O-line, I'm predicting Andrew Thomas is probably the pick, as long as he's not off the board. The only other guy I saw that they said might drop to them is Micah Becton, and he is just a monstrous human being. I think he's like 6'8", 3.
Oh, I have his stats right here.
Oh, he's an absolute
6'7", 360.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how big he is, and apparently he runs like a 5.0 40. Like, it's stupid.
They said he runs like he's 260.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the other guy to look out for here, and those two kind of round out the best four O linemen in the draft. So that's the way the Bucs have to go.
Yeah, I have to agree. They got to protect Brady because they clearly don't need anything else here offensively other than an offensive lineman. But at the same time, this draft can get really, really crazy up front with the offensive line. And that's what's crazy. This draft's going to be nuts with the online draft as it is. And players can go that you don't expect to go early, and it can be offensive linemen and tackles specifically going very, very early, causing issues on the back end right here with Tampa, where Tampa might go defense. If all these linemen are gone, yes, you really don't know what's going to go on here. Dave, I know you got the Broncos next. Where do you think they go? I think it's receiver.
I think it is receiver as well.
I think they would have traded up.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think Denver is probably going to trade up if they want a receiver that badly, which I think they do because they like Drew Lock. I like Drew Lock. He seems good enough for that Denver team, and John Elway loves his shiny toys, so he's going to want to get a wide receiver for Drew Lock. Or if anything else, if they can't seem to get a deal, or if no one falls them after not getting a deal, they might try to shore up the line. They might try to shore up some of that defense. because they're getting older and back there. So most likely it's wide receiver. That's the most I see for the Denver Broncos, but we'll see.
Yeah, worst case, if they don't like a guy where you're going to reach on someone early here, might trade back and grab one of those wide receivers later on, KJ Hamler, Mims, Ayuk or whatever from
from
State.
ASU. Yep.
Yeah. So they might trade back and grab one of those other guys if all the rest of them are taken early, or as you touched on, hopping up early.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have the ATL, the Falcons up here.
Never
believe that
the
is
same
low.
since 28-3. Anyway, but so everything I looked at here, it said, it's obvious they need someone at every single level of the defense. Their interior is not great. Their edge rushing hasn't been very good for a long time. And they obviously just let go of Trufant, who was their best corner for the best part of a decade. So they can go anywhere. The guys that I saw Javon Kinlaw, who is considered one of the top defensive linemen, defensive interior guys in the whole entire draft. But for me, I look at that and I look at these interior linemen, and being Jets fans, Muhammad Wilkerson, Sheldon Richardson, Leonard Williams, unless they're Aaron Donald, they don't matter that much. Our best interior lineman was Snacks Harrison, and he was an undrafted guy in the past few years. So for me, I don't like that pick. If they go that way, the other guy I saw was Kalavon Chasen from LSU, but he's kind of a Vic Beasley, a little undersized. The tool guy will kind of not use his arms when he's pass rushing. So the Falcons are kind of in a crappy spot right here where I don't think they can trade. I don't think anybody wants the 16. I don't think anybody wants to be there.
You don't. They might trade back. You just don't know what's going to be there.
But I don't see what's
going to trade back.
I think they might. I don't see what's there for them because
I hear you.
What they need isn't there. So yes, they might trade back. If CJ Henderson's still there, they might grab CJ Henderson at corner. He's a physical freak. If he drops this low, I don't think CJ Henderson's dropping to 16. But those are the three guys that I can see. They might trade back, but I think David brought up a good point where it's going to be difficult to do a lot of this stuff on the side because you're going to be doing this. So unless they do like a speaker view where only who's speaking is on the screen, I don't know how they're going to make it work. I don't know how easy trades are going to be.
You got to figure these guys have side phones. They're texting these guys. They're going to find a way to get deals done. As much as we think it's going to be kind of like this, where a bunch of clowns, Gettleman and all them guys sitting up, what's going on here?
That'd be hilarious.
As funny as that would be, darn well they're going to have someone sitting in just in case, and then they're going to be on the phones if they want to make deals. There's no way they blow trades, especially in a draft.
We just
draft like this.
The old guys from the Muppet Show just up on top of the balcony, just heckling.
That'd be hilarious because if that's what it's like with these GMs and owners on the camera, that's what pretty much would be like. But to keep things going, K-Doc, your boys, what goes on here with Dallas?
So from the beginning with the NFC, East teams, it was focusing on, even with the Redskins with their obvious pick, was more of they need to shore up the offenses. But of course, the Redskins can't do that because they have to get that superstar, and of course, the Giants need to shore up the offensive line. Now we're going to the teams that need to shore up the defenses. So I think Dallas really needs the edge rusher if they can, the cornerbacks, really big needs. I think defense, no matter what, they just need a lot of things on defense. I don't know what specifically position. Whoever's there, they need to shore up the defense. They need to start somewhere.
For sure, defense. Rob Planner, thanks for joining us, buddy. But yeah, I think they go defense for sure here, Dallas. I think they have a bunch of needs, especially after losing Byron Jones. I think it goes defense for sure here. Next up, Matt, you got the Dolphins here coming from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gladly will take that trade all day with Minka Fitzpatrick. But the Dolphins having a fantastic offseason. What do you think the Dolphins do after they go quarterback? Most likely, what do you think the Dolphins
They're going to draft a better safety than Minka Fitzpatrick. They're going to draft Xavier McKinney from Alabama. They're going to replace him like he wasn't even there. The Dolphins are going to take Xavier McKinney from Bama, secondary safety. I mean, he could play at all levels of the secondary. I think it's an obvious pick. If they didn't go there, I still think they go secondary, maybe the cornerback from Clemson, A.J. Terrell, but it's Xavier McKinney, bro. Watch.
I love the pad.
Wait on it.
So
that's absolute bait and a half, man.
Nick Saban.
Don't do it.
Nick Saban creates.
Don't do it.
Okay.
So quickly.
I'd rather a team full of Nick Saban products than whatever you got going down.
Can we take a quick vote? Can we all just vote that Matt is kind of the Woody Page of this Around the Horn? And it's fantastic because Woody Page is like the best superstar of that whole show. It's a compliment, Matt. Don't worry. Because that was the most Woody Page I ever heard.
Erase board behind him, blackboard behind him.
No, instead he has a Portuguese flag.
I don't necessarily see them going corner, bringing in Byron Jones to go along with Howard in the secondary. Possibly safety. I do have to agree with the safety take.
I think it is safety. I think no matter what.
They're going to have some needs to fill. This is a very interesting pick for the Dolphins. I have to agree with the safety pick. Next up, Vegas again. What do you got going on, Alex?
So the genius that is John Gruden just got 1 million picks, and he's racking them up at 19. You know, the crazy part is the more I looked at this crap in this draft, there is a bunch of value in this first round. There is a lot of really good college players. You can get up to 19 and have an impact player, which I think Vegas is going to do at this point. One of their weaknesses, they were very weak at linebacker. They had kind of addressed it. Corey Littleton was signed in free agency, but he's going to need a running mate because they're going to go to a 4-3. So from everything I saw a lot of linebacker and I saw a lot of cornerback, but the linebacker that I saw here is Patrick Queen from LSU. He is the most overall sideline-to-sideline athletic linebacker. He also came up a lot later when I talk about another pick, but he was the guy that I saw here. If they don't go that way, they can always still go corner. AJ Terrell was a guy that I saw pop up a lot for them too as a corner. So I also saw Jordan Love pop up here. Don't know why Jordan Love popped up here, but Jordan Love was thrown in there. So I could just throw that one in there. But ultimately, I think they might go linebacker or corner. I think they need to address the defense overall.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about Jordan Love here, might be right here with Alex. We're going to continue with you here. Jacksonville Jaguars, again, a ton of needs. We've talked about this already. I know you got Minshew Mania, Dave. Yes, I know. But Jordan Love here could be a pick. I don't see it happening. I think they test out the Minshew thing, see how long this goes. But what do you think Jacksonville goes here? Again, ton of needs.
So they have a ton of needs. I think they're buying into Minshew. I really do. I think right now they're looking to get a second a wide receiver to help out. Chark was their best wide receiver, Pro Football Focus, the only one that got into the top 25 there. Then you have guys like D.D. Westbrook, and, there's just a whole bunch of needs down there. The guy that I saw pop up a lot was Denzel Mims from Baylor, who was considered the fourth best wide receiver probably in this draft right now. Denzel Mims was a guy. And also, if Henry Ruggs drops this low, he'll be a steal. I've seen a few mock drafts where Ruggs has dropped. I know it's crazy. I know it's bizarre, but I've seen some mock drafts where he's dropped because if we look at it, guys, as much as we say no, there's a lot of needs up in front of them. And past the, if the Jets go O-line, it's just the Raiders and Broncos that address the other two. Who really needs Ruggs after them?
Well, the team coming up next that K-Doc's going to get to, the Philadelphia Eagles are one of those teams that could hop right up there in the mix. I think they stay here with possibly going Jefferson. K-Doc, what do you got going on here? But that if Ruggs does fall, that's a team that's going to hop right up there and go get Ruggs because they like Ruggs. That's a team that can hop up. What do you think they go here, K-Doc?
I think, always the obvious one is obviously everyone wants to say wide receiver because of guys like Aguilar. I love that meme too much. But yeah, I feel like no, you don't go.
Did he play wide receiver last year? I thought he just played volleyball. Every big pass thrown to him last year.
I think you gotta go again like the Cowboys defense. I think they can go for some backs. I feel like you need to shore up again because I feel like they have options lower. I think in the lower rounds because again I don't know. I just know this is not based on because I really only know 3 players in this draft. That's how much I've been paying attention. I'll admit that. But I'm talking. But I mean, just from prior history, I feel like you could go the 3rd or 4th round and get guys that could become pieces for wide receivers. I feel like you want to go on the D-back, find your D-backs, find more on the defensive line. I think the Eagles need to shore up just like the Cowboys just need to shore up on that defensive
for
back,
sure. Rob, haven't heard much from you. What do you think Philly does here? Do you think that – I know we've talked a lot about the receivers. We had a discussion before with the receivers on Xbox before with the wideouts.
Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Yeah, mid-show.
Yeah,
But we had to make some adjustments. K-Doc stepping in clutch tonight for us. But what do you think goes on here at Possible Philly?
All right.
What do you think goes on here with some receiver talk?
So look. My circumstances took me out of the beginning of this podcast. Okay, we were playing the cards. I had to play. I'm always on Xbox. Look. I'm sorry, but I'm here. Ready? So interesting. So my take.
Wait. I'm sorry. Did you just come in here to flex on us with AirPods, son?
I hate you.
Look at you guys, future lawyer. He's not even going to show up to his court cases on time. Look. He's going to
say that.
All right, I'm sorry. Continue.
Please let this man talk.
You all have mics. So that's it. This is all I have.
With the Jesus piece and everything. Go ahead, Rob.
I hate you, Alex. Please let this man talk.
So look. Receivers. All right. So me and Matt were saying this earlier. CeeDee Lamb's just the best receiver in this class, honestly. Like, I mean, you look at it, it falls off. I mean, you get Judy, Ruggs, and Lamb. Those are the three guys you need to worry about. Every other receiver in this draft is just they're overrated. There's no depth outside of that. They're going to be okay.
I would not say they're overrated. I wouldn't say they're overrated. They're very, very – this is a very, very deep class.
Okay.
Michael Pittman from Ohio State, oh my goodness.
USC.
Oh, I forgot Juju guy. All right, I'm sorry.
Aren't
Juju.
you the host?
He's another Juju. All right, calm down. This class is deep. Denzel Rieger. There's receivers all over this place.
Ayuk.
Those are top guys. You cannot say there's a fall off. This class is loaded receivers, but you cannot reach early and take a minute.
David.
I didn't get to finish. This is
what is wrong with Dave?
I didn't get to
go,
finish.
Dave. There he is.
He's there.
You're good, Rob.
This is what I was saying. Ruggs will be a number one-ish receiver. If he gets in the right offense, he's going to be a number one-ish receiver. CeeDee Lamb is a number one receiver. Jerry Jeudy can be, but I think it'll be more like a Ridley and Julio situation if he goes to the right team. But I don't think so. I don't like Jeudy that much either. But my thing is Justin Jefferson is just a 2 or 3. Mims is just a 2 or 3. Pittman is just a fast 2 or 3. That's just what we have here. That's my thought on receiver. And honestly, I think Philly goes receiver just because they can't stay on the field. Forget Aguilar drop. They can't stay healthy.
So who are you going to go here? Because more than likely Ruggs, Jeudy, Lamb are gone. So you're stuck with Mims, Ayuk, Jefferson. Which guy are you looking at here?
Honestly, I like Jefferson the most. I think Jefferson the most just because he's got that, he's got that 2-star mentality kind of thing. He's going to come in, he's going to work. And I think that's what you want on a team like this. You want a guy who was like, too high projected, I guess. And he's the best. I think Jefferson's the best one that'll be left. But Mims, I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
I like the specs on Mims.
He's a big dude.
You're talking 6'3", 207 pounds, and runs up 4.38. You know what? Why am I even reading stats? You're just gonna take the biggest.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, height and weight. Where am I?
But I mean, I think a big thing too with like physical receivers that we're gonna see. I mean, it's a good thing that DK is as good as he ended up being, because if it wasn't for him, physical stats of receivers just wouldn't mean much. I mean, it's just kind of you get a freak guy out there, he's gonna make a difference. So I think Eagles go. I think they go receiver just because. I don't know. I mean, they got a lot of holes. Phillies.
So Mims could be Stephen Hill, or he could be Metcalf. There's two different options. Stephen Hill was a beast on paper, and he was awful for the Jets. And then you have DK Metcalf, and even Calvin Johnson, Megatron, is a similar type of player. Obviously, I don't think DK Metcalf is even at his level, but similar style. So both,
they're both not tall enough.
Yeah, but let's keep this thing going. Alex, you're up here. Buffalo trading away. Trading to get Stephon Diggs here with that pick. Minnesota up here getting a first-round draft pick, which still blows my mind that Hopkins doesn't get a first-round pick for the Texans. But they get a first-round pick here. You got Minnesota, you're up. The Vikings. What do you think Minnesota does here? I know talks. They want to get out. What do you think they do here?
It really depends. We talked about how crazy it was up in front. So it really depends on what goes on ahead of them. If A.J. Terrell's still here, they take him. They lost their 3 starting corners over this past offseason. They need a top caliber corner. If Terrell falls to them, that's where they're going. The other guys that I saw were the guys we just talked about. Jefferson, Ayuk, Mims. None of them are replacing Steven Diggs. Thielen does need a second fiddle guy, but like K-Doc said, you can go third, fourth, fifth round and really find a diamond in the rough wide receiver that can go. I don't think Adam Thielen was a top guy. I think he was a third, fourth round pick. So you can find value down there in really good wide receivers down there at the skill positions there. So it's corner if it's available. If it's Terrell, I don't think a guy, other names are thrown around. Jalen Johnson of Utah, Gladney of TCU, Fulton, LSU. Those were the other three corners I saw. They have another pick not too far after this. I'm going to be talking about those guys, but I don't think any of those guys are of the caliber here. Like you said, they might trade out at 22 and, keep their next pick that they have in the first round and just get out with this one.
Matt, you're up here in New England. A lot of needs, losing a lot of defensive pieces. I bet you guys are all happy about it. New England has a decent amount of needs to fill here. What do you think the Patriots go?
They could always trade out because Belichick likes to trade out.
Alex, please.
So they could trade out. I don't think they do. I think they're going to go edge. They lost Jamie Collins. They lost Van Noy. I just think that's where they have to really, become whole again. You could get Zach Bond. He had 12.5 sacks last year, 19.5 tackles for loss. There's AJ Espinosa from Iowa. Really, these are some lesser-known players as far. They didn't play in the SEC, so it doesn't really matter. And that's, I think they go edge. I don't see them going anywhere else other than trading out.
Thanks, Feinbaum.
Yeah, they have a bunch of needs. I think they do go edge, losing Van Noy. I think it's definitely defense. Either way you slice it, losing Deron Harmon, Jamie Collins.
Dude, and you know the crazy part? All their linebackers that they lost went to Patriots ex-coaches.
Yep, for sure. We'll get into that a little bit later because Miami coming back up. Alex, you got the Saints. What do you think goes on here with New Orleans? Bringing in Emmanuel Sanders. You would have thought receiver. Sorry, Alex, I know you're getting into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bringing in Sanders. You might have thought another receiver to go here with Mike Thomas. They bring in Sanders, so this throws out that idea of receiver. What do you think the Saints go here?
I saw a lot where everyone said that Saints are just in a really good position. Their team is pretty deep everywhere. They have a lot of good players. The spot that's kind of in flux is at middle linebacker. So this was another spot that if Patrick Queen falls here, I mentioned him once, but he was a big name that I saw thrown around. I saw Kenneth Murray of Oklahoma there. I don't know how high they are on Kenneth Murray.
I think it's early for him.
Yeah, I don't think he would go here. You mentioned receiver, and even though they brought in Emmanuel Sanders, this is still a spot where they could go there. But ultimately, I'm seeing Jordan Love go off the board here. If he's still there, he's going to be the heir apparent to
screw Taysom Hill.
Yeah, Taysom Hill. What about Taysom Hill?
I don't think Taysom Hill's giving him a problem. He doesn't want to resign the restricted free agent tender.
I wouldn't trust him.
I don't think Taysom Hill is coming back. I think even if he signs it this year, they're looking to move on from Taysom Hill. And if we look at Taysom Hill, he's really athletic. There's a lot of questions on if he could throw. Same questions that were with Lamar Jackson, but you're not going to find lightning in a bottle like Lamar Jackson. And I really don't think Sean Payton's going to build a whole offense around a quarterback that can't throw when he just had a decade of an offense with one of the best throwers to ever do it. It's not going to happen.
He's going to pick Jalen Hurts.
They're not going to pick Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a running back that could throw again. So I think that this is maybe me projecting, but if it's not linebacker, if Jordan Love is there, they're picking a quarterback.
Yeah, they can go a lot of ways here. Honestly, you might have a surprise team that comes calling to get into the first round. We'll talk about it at the end of wrap-up. Possibly Colts coming back in. This could be a trade spot. You don't know. You're coming up here with Minnesota. Alex, you got them again, the Vikings.
I do.
Another team that wants to trade out. They've talked about it. Yeah. So you can have a team calling in to come get Love. So what are the Vikings
question about the Saints?
Around?
Sorry, when you're done.
No, you're good. No, go ahead.
Alex,
go ahead.
Question about the Saints. You said they're not going to go. They really need to not change their quarterback scheme. Like they need a pocket passer. So you're saying they need Lynn Bowden from UK.
Please stop. He doesn't need Lynn Bowden, okay?
So what do you got here with the Vikings here?
I'm
Alex?
happy we invited K-Doc to this party.
That's all I'm gonna bring. That.
I saw a lot of them about them trading out. They do need that receiver again, but I don't think they're going to get it here. I don't think they're going to go. An interesting guy I saw pop up was Yetur Gross-Matos. He's an edge rusher from Penn State. Underrated edge rusher. I think he's one of the better guys. He's pretty damn athletic. Did really good against definitely some of the best offensive lines in the country. The Big Ten always has very good offensive linemen. So he's a guy that could pop up here because Anthony Barr disappointed last year in terms of containing the edge. He was supposed to go to the Jets, went back to the Vikings, wasn't as good as he could have been. And I think that they might go edge. It might be a little high to grab Gross-Matos, so they might go back where they could get him.
Yes.
It's a little high for him, but if they really feel like there's a team calling for him beneath them, they might just snag him here because they already had the pick at 22. They got their pick that they wanted at 22. This might just be a value pick wherever they were.
Yeah, I got to add it. They've been talking about him a lot. I mean, they've really been going like Alex, that Penn State. He's one of those guys who you just hear about randomly before the draft, and somehow he's a first rounder. Like if there was a guy I was going to pick to be him, it would be him on a value pick here. For sure.
Him and the kid from Iowa, I could both see possibly sneaking into the first round, back into the first round.
It's the
going.
Big Ten thing. If you're a good edge rusher, a good defender in the Big Ten against the running backs and offensive linemen that they have there, then you're going to get higher value because SEC has speed, Big Ten has power. If you can be good linebacker and a good rusher against that power type of offense that you see there, just like if you're a good corner and D-back in the SEC, you get a lot more play because of the speed of the SEC.
Yeah, you got to see, you got to figure out how good the offensive lines are. Wisconsin always known for those offensive linemen. Michigan's got a few coming out this year. Those lines are good, and you got to figure those rushers have had great seasons there. Josh Uche is going to be one of those guys, probably second round. You got two guys here from Penn State and Iowa possibly going late first round. Then you got Miami. Matt, what do you got Miami? Another first round.
Now.
I have them either going O-line here or perhaps running back. Interestingly enough, I think O-line they're going to go for maybe the lesser-known guys from smaller programs like Ezra Cleveland from Boise State or Joshua Jones from Houston. But if they do go running back, I mean, Miami kind of has something interesting going there. If they draft Tua, they have Devontae Parker, they have Gesicki. I mean, they could add a running back. I really think the only person they would take this high is DeAndre Swift. I don't really see it happening. I think they go O-line, but it can happen, and that it could happen, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
I'm very glad we had a different sprinkle into this. That's something I didn't see happening. Same time, I don't see it happening because they have such high picks in the second round also. But I understand what you're talking about. If they grade a guy like Swift that highly, they have the picks to mess around and do it right here.
Exactly.
So quickly, how wild is it that was the first spot? What are we at? Pick 26? That was the first mention of a running back. That has to be the lowest mention I've ever seen in my life for a running back in the draft. Like, you usually get a guy in the top 15. You have a stud. This is on every mock draft that there is not a single running back within the top 20.
What overall is that Buck's second pick?
Bucks, the second pick in the second round for the Bucks.
No, they're
the second
pick.
one in the first round.
They have 14. The Bucks only.
They only have one.
Atlanta with 2?
45.
No, Atlanta has one.
Atlanta has one. The Vikings.
The Raiders have two. Raiders and then Minnesota 2. San Fran multiple. And then
Giants
Miami
have multiples.
Yeah.
So you look at it, and the needs. It's interesting. The needs don't fit that, but normally there is a guy that just forces his way on talent.
Yeah.
And it's insane that we're looking at 26 to be a possibility. We might not get a running back in the first round.
I feel bad. I feel bad for Jonathan Taylor.
I agree.
How many records do you have to break? What kind of numbers do you have to put up? What else do you have to do? And I'm going to be honest. I put some money on him to be selected in the first round. I made a donation. But DraftKings took my money.
You even didn't pick him for your first running back. So how bad do you feel?
No, I just think the style Miami is trying to play, it's just not. Jonathan Taylor is a Patriots running back.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. He's a Tennessee Titans Patriots running back. He's not. You're not gonna have him run a wheel route for him. He's not gonna play out of the shotgun. He's a single back I-form formation type of guy.
Same time, I agree with you. If they do throw a sprinkle in here, DeAndre Swift, I don't see it happening. There's decent running backs you can get in the second round here. J.K. Dobbins, as you mentioned, Jonathan Taylor. There's multiple running backs you can go here.
That's not even my favorite running back is coming later.
I know.
My favorite running back is coming later.
I feel like I know who this is. I'm not going to mention it. But there's multiple running backs here in this draft, so I think Miami holds up here on that. Go second round because they have picks there high. I see him going possibly there. But next up, we got Seattle. Dave, take it here, man. There's multiple ways for Seattle to go here.
How did David get Seattle? David hates Seattle.
Well, listen, I've come around on Seattle. The Vikings missed field goal on them in the playoffs really set me off. But other than that, so Seattle with the Clowney situation, where that is, we may see them go edge rusher.
Yep.
Depending on how that goes for them, but also we may see them go a line. Russell Wilson was the second most sacked quarterback last year.
Yeah, destroyed.
He's getting destroyed back there.
And he's not a big dude.
I've seen this man win so many games for the Seahawks. You would think they would try to help him there at least.
Yeah, because his contract, Dave, they can't pay anyone to help him.
That's true. That's true. But still,
I draft a young kid. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Dave.
I would think that we might see either an edge rusher, depending on what happens to Clowney, or an O lineman here.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a bunch of way they can go. As you touched on, Clowney on the market still, not getting the price he wants, as he shouldn't. I don't think he deserves that money that he's asking for. Next up,
not with his motor.
No, absolutely no. It's too inconsistent. Next up, we got the AFC North, the Ravens. Disappointing postseason. I'm okay with it. But next up, we got the Ravens. They're set. They're gonna be. I mean, geez Louise. As we talk about the fire sale from Jacksonville, Calais Campbell again coming in for an awful bag of chips. That team continues to take advantage of the cheap contract that Lamar Jackson's on. I think they do need help at linebacker here, especially on the inside part of the linebacking core. This class is very weak at linebacker on the inside. Patrick Queen is a possible name to come up here for. I can see them possibly trading back. I think Patrick Queen out of LSU could be the guy here for the Ravens. But I think a linebacker is in need for Baltimore to continue to grow that fantastic defense that they got going there. They don't need any secondary help. Marcus Peters got the contract extension. Jimmy Smith also there. Earl Thomas, Tony Jefferson. Yeah, Marlon Humphreys. I mean, the secondary is loaded. They don't need it. Judon got the tag. They don't need – They have a lot of security, but they did have Marshall Yonder retire on the inside of the line. So that could be a problem. Cesar Ruiz could possibly go here. I don't know. Could be linebacker. I think that's where Baltimore goes. Next up, we got Tennessee at 19. Take it away here.
Okay, so for Tennessee, there's only so many things that they're going to do here. I think it's just going to receive either their offensive line or defensive line, honestly, because they lost Jarrell Casey. So they may need another edge rusher there, or they also lost Jack Conklin. So we could probably going to see someone on either side of the line that they're going to pick up in order to either add depth or maybe they're good enough to start, but they're going to pick on the line.
I have to agree. They did a great job in the postseason. They did a great job keeping Tannehill and Derrick Henry. Do we know how long that's going to last there? I don't know. They did a great job securing it up. At least give it another run. Give it another run. See what the heck happens. They did a great job there. A.J. Brown, steal. My Lord, that guy had a great postseason there. My Lord, what a pick there. Next up, we have Green Bay. Matt, possible wide receiver going here. Another guy to pair with Devontae Adams. Linebacker issues. He lost a few. What do you think Green Bay goes?
I'm thinking wide receiver. I think this is where you get into the Denzel Mims, the Brandon Ayuk's of the draft. Personally, I like Mims. I think the Packers could trade back here. I mean, they could go linebacker, Patrick Queen, like you said. Not sure if he'll be there. I really think the Packers are just gonna feel out the draft here. I don't think they should extend themselves on overdrafting a wide receiver because they feel like they have to. I think they should make a smart choice here and just go back to the second round if they're dead set on wide receiver.
Yeah, very interesting what they can go here. I think wide receivers, as you touched on, but if they don't love a guy this draft, as we've talked about this whole time, it's deep. You don't have to go there right now. You can wait in the second round and do it, trade back. I also saw a spicy take here. Matt, you had the Packers. I saw someone say on ESPN, Jordan Love possibly here with the Packers. Do you
Aaron
see
Rodgers
it as
would not stand for it.
I agree. I don't think he would like it at all.
It
I'm
ain't
just saying the
Not that he wouldn't
Packers-
like it. He would sit. He would say, "You want to draft him? I'm not playing. Trade me." He would sit.
I hear you.
could see Aaron
It's
Rodgers
just something I want to toss in. Rob, do you have a take here? We haven't heard from you a little bit.
I mean,
Jordan tossed in.
Jordan Love he's a boomer bust kind of guy, and he's the type of guy that Rodgers just doesn't want behind him. That's my whole Aaron Rodgers is just like you're gonna win with him, but he's the GM. Whatever Aaron wants is gonna happen. He's
Same
the
time,
Jason
though.
Kidd of the Packers. That's
Same
just what
time,
it is.
though, that Green Bay team likes to plan out things in advance. You saw it with Favre, possibly Rodgers now.
Yeah, but what the hell
planned
have
out
they
things
done
in
for
advance.
Rodgers lately? And the dude is still winning games.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I don't see it happening. I'm just saying they've planned out in advance. You can also see Dak possibly with Dallas when McCarthy comes in, planning ahead.
It's more likely to go with Dak than it would with
I hear you
Rodgers.
because it's a 1 year with Dak. You don't.
I
just wanted to. Toss
I don't see it. I don't
see
see
it
it.
with
toss
either.
it.
My thing is,
I just wanted to toss it in.
wherever Love ends up, the starter's going to be very, very worried because they're already starting Mahomes comparisons. So it just is what it is. If they draft Jordan Love, you're kind of screwed because he's the next Messiah. And
So, Rob, here's a quick question. Who would you rather have, PJ Walker or Love? They both have the Mahomes comparisons running through them.
Yeah,
Love,
honestly,
Love.
I think I would.
Love.
Yeah, I'm taking Love. I'm taking Love too, just
Love.
because.
Do you love him?
Okay, I'm
Next
just going to
team.
on that
San
note,
Francisco Pickers.
on that
Lynn
note-
Bowden again.
on that note, Dave, you're up again. Again, we talked about it earlier with the picks.
This one they're most
situation.
likely going to trade because
Yes.
they're so far back. This one is the one they're probably going to trade, but you never know. We could see them pick any kind of need, any depth that they feel like they need, honestly. Maybe a cornerback. You never know. Anything they could add to this team that they feel like they can make better. I mean, for some reason I'm forgetting a defensive coordinator's name, but you give him any player and he'll hype them up to their highest degree. That person will go Super Saiyan for that defense. So it's either you trade back or you're probably going to see another person on defense.
For sure. As you touched on with the draft, they don't have any picks after this for a very long time. I see them trying to trade out. As you touched on, we don't have to continue on it. We've heard 1,000 times with the 2 picks they do have in the first round. I think they won out. To wrap up, your Super Bowl champs, Matt, your chefs. What do you think goes on here with KC?
Well, they could have a lot of fun with this pick. Let's be honest. So if they were to trade back, which I don't really see, I think they're going to get a center here. I think Cesar Ruiz from Michigan. I'm not really sure. They could go running back. They do have a hole there. I've seen Swift. I've seen Dobbins. I've also seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who is personally my favorite player in the whole entire draft.
I had a feeling that's where you're going. I didn't want to say it. I had a feeling that's where you're going.
If you watch him for LSU, you cannot touch the guy. The guy is super quick, makes precise cuts on a dime. You can't teach stuff like that. Now, the biggest concern with him is that he's undersized, but if you've read the recent news about him, he is shooting up every draft board. He was projected in the 4th round. Now he's looking at early 2nd round. People are projecting him to go 35th-ish. The Chiefs might say, screw it. I don't really see it, but I really think it's going to be a center, a running back, maybe a linebacker because they did lose a little bit. But, it might be Kenneth Murray, but it could also be a trade up.
I think they trade.
It could be.
They trade Mahomes to the Jets.
Nope.
Come on, Alex. Come on.
They trade a whole lot and get Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, no, we're not doing
That would be
No, absolutely not. The
What if it happened? What if it happened?
No, the Ruggs thing was put on. I don't remember if that was Bleacher Report or ESPN that put that out, but that was an actual thing they were talking about.
I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire though.
Okay.
So that is our whole first round draft analysis for all the teams. We're not experts, so we're not giving you what picks here.
Who's not an expert?
I hate you.
somewhat of an
I hate you.
expert
Please,
myself.
please.
Jason Giambi, number 1 overall.
Oh my goodness. But that is our first round overview for the teams. We're going to wrap up on the teams now who were not mentioned in the first round that made trades. I'm going to start off with Pittsburgh. What their needs possibly could be, I think offensively is where they're going to go. Same time, they do need a safety. I could see a safety possibly going. I do see running back, whatever's available there. A.J. Dillon, Hilaire, J.K. Dobbins, whatever's there. I think they're going to go running back most likely or receiver. This class is deep at receiver. If someone's there that they love, they're going to go receiver. Next up, Colts. What do we have going on with the Colts?
Are the Steelers comfortable with what they've seen at backup? Big Ben is not going to be there for much longer, period. Are they comfortable? Do they get in the Jordan Love sweepstakes?
I don't
possibly
think so.
go grab him.
No,
Maybe.
I don't see it. I don't see it. And I saw Hurts. I saw Hurts. Steelers. No, they have to love a guy.
They're
I
waiting
don't think
for
it
Trevor
happens.
Lawrence and Jalen Hurts next year, and those guys.
Fields, yeah.
Jalen Hurts is in this draft, old man.
Fields. He meant Justin
Hurts.
Fields.
I know what he meant. Yeah, I know what he meant.
Irrelevant. That's why. I'm so sorry.
Jeez. No, I saw them.
Fields, yeah.
I saw them listen with Hurts. Absolutely not. They don't need another. Hey, let's take a shot on this guy. Absolutely not. They don't need to take another waiver on a guy. I think they still believe in Mason Rudolph possibly. They have time. They have another year at least. See what happens this year. I don't see it happening on a quarterback. If not later, Jacob Eason possibly.
Okay.
That's another guy I like. People hammer him for not being mobile. I've seen some of his tape. He can move. I don't need a guy that's going to run over the field. He can throw the deep ball very, very well. He moves.
How about Jake Fromm?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But anyway, let's go on to the Colts. I also have the Colts.
Wow. I hope Fromm gets picked on the Steelers.
Absolutely not. I will fight someone if that happens. But now let's keep this thing going.
Receivers need to be 10 yards further than they're supposed to be.
This guy. But no, I got the Colts again up here. Colts, I think, could be one of those teams. They got Rivers for this year, rental possibly. I see them possibly as a team to jump in to go get Jordan Love. If not, they do need receiver. They lost Funches this offseason.
Jordan Love is going undrafted. There's so many teams that want him, and no one's going to pull the trigger. He's just going to go undrafted.
Right.
Absolutely not.
Big ceiling. Big ceiling.
I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped.
Agreed.
Absolutely not. But
Hey Cole, just for this isn't like the last Saints question, a serious one. For is this something like with the Colts where they need to get, even if it's in the later rounds, they need to get a quarterback to try it out this year?
I would not. They got Rivers. They have Brissett still. You don't know Jacoby.
Again, how much I'm paying attention? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's just I don't see them waiting for a guy like that. If anything, they're going up to get a guy like Love. I don't see them taking a waiver on a Hurts, Eason. I don't see them doing anything like that. If they're going to make a move, they're going up to get Love. I think plain and simple, that's what they're going to do. If they do move up, the Colts, that's what's going to happen. Next up,
so they're going to be like the Steelers, where it's next year if they need it.
Possibly. I don't know what Pittsburgh does. Same time, Pittsburgh. Ben is the first time he's had no pain in his elbow in a few seasons. Again, I don't need Ben to be great. But next up, we got Chicago. Where are the Bears going here? NFC North.
Quarterback, because Mitch Trubisky is awful. I really think that they might consider, and I'm not that, all jokes aside, they might consider taking a flyer on a Jalen Hurts. This is the team that might take the flyer later.
Yeah.
Because they need something to push Mitchell Trubisky. They need a guy with athletic.
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles is awful. They need.
Yeah, so is Jalen Hurts. What's the difference?
But the difference is the youth factor and the potential there. I think if they might be the ones that do it. If not, maybe go out and possibly get another late edge rusher to go with Khalil Mack and kind of make a two-headed monster. I think that's another way they can.
Dude,
Jalen Hurts. Go ahead, Matt.
Jalen Hurts' ceiling is Robert Griffin today.
He's a winner. This is why I'll give Hurts. No. This is why I'll give Hurts his credit. If we saw Hurts, I think, in the Oklahoma system for a longer time, we might be talking very differently. He's a winner. He won at Alabama.
Anybody can throw in the Big 12. I could throw
I hear you.
400 yards in the Big 12.
You said this about Kyler Murray. He looked very, very comfortable in that offense like Jalen Hurts did this season.
Okay.
You can't hammer the guy. I think he goes mid-second round for Jalen Hurts. Has a lot of potential. The Bears could possibly do it here. I don't know. I have the Bears. I think possible receiver is another option to pair him up with Allen Robinson. I don't know. They brought in Foles in a trade. They can go a bunch of ways here. Secondary help could be nice here. Austin Mukamura. They brought in Artie Burns from Pittsburgh. They made some tiny moves. I don't know. They have a bunch of ways they can go. Chicago, receiver one, quarterback another, secondary. They have a bunch of options. There's a bunch of needs, I think, in Chicago. L.A. What about the L.A. Rams, Dave? What do you got? L.A. Rams doing second round. What do you think they do?
Embarrassing themselves with their logo.
That's one. But the Rams are an interesting team because they really should have been good, but they weren't. So I don't know entirely what they're going to try to figure out here. But, I mean, I think we may see them try to shore up that defense more because that defense has been supposed to be good all the time, but it just hasn't lived up to the expectations. That offense, it slowed down last year, but you can expect that. That defense just has not lived up to anything. So I see them going on a defensive side, and at least in the second round in this draft.
Dave, I don't want to go back-to-back. I agree with you on that. I'm not going to go back-to-back with you. I'm going to have you finish this up. Matt, other team we haven't talked about, Buffalo getting Stephon Diggs in a trade, trading away the first-round draft pick. What does Buffalo do to help out Josh Allen in with that offense? Singletary had a great season last year at running back. What does Buffalo do this season?
I guess you have to help the offense. The Buffalo defense is pretty solid. It's getting a little older with people like Lorenzo Alexander and such, but I don't think there's an immediate need on that defense. It's good enough to win now. Running back, you have something there. Wide receiver is still work in progress. You could bring in another wide receiver. I don't think you have to trade into the first round to get that. Perhaps you have to trade down in the second round, but I don't see a need for the Bills necessarily to get into this first round. Really, my question is, what's the point for the Bills? I don't see one.
I think it's going to be Buffalo, Jets, and Miami third, possibly getting in there. I don't see it with Miami. I think it's another year away. I think it's Jets, Buffalo this season. The Bills' defense is loaded, as you just touched on. Possibly another receiver to bring into that receiving core group with Cole Beasley, John Brown, Diggs. A bunch of ways to go for Buffalo. That defense is legit. They might even go best available. If there's someone that shouldn't be sitting on the board when they're up, they might even go there. To wrap it up, Dave, what do you got in the Texans? I've been sitting here waiting for this all day. Give me the spiel on the Texans because, golly, Bill O'Brien, poof, blow the place up.
Can they get a new coach or GM in the draft?
How about both?
I think Dave froze for a second, so we're going to take over for a second.
Oh, I've been waiting.
There he is.
Too.
No, he's good.
Okay, there he is.
Go ahead, Dave.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, good. So, sorry about that. My internet's being all in and out here. So, am I back?
You're here.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I've been waiting for this. The internet better not ruin this for me. The Houston Texans need to get rid of Bill O'Brien. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if how you try to defend him in any way. I remember I saw the tweet that Matt, I think you put in the group. I'm not saying you're trying to defend.
It was a pretty good deal if you look at it that way.
No.
The numbers spoke for itself. Yeah, dude, you can say whatever you want, but you can't argue numbers.
Please, we made it this far. Let him finish.
You showed me the combined stats of 3 different players on 3 different offenses that just barely beat DeAndre Hopkins in one.
Look at the set. They obliterated them.
We're not
expecting touchdowns.
Yes,
Go ahead.
No,
we don't need to
let him
debate
finish up on the Texans here.
I'm sorry. We don't need to debate this. But the Houston Texans, once again, they need to help Deshaun Watson on the offensive line. 2 years in a row, the sack leader. Yeah, it went down by 10, but there's still the sack leader. So he needs to be helped on the offensive line. they need to do so much for that team because honestly, Bill O'Brien's is gonna. If they don't get rid of him, he's just gonna end up like a Marvin Lewis. He's just gonna be there for a while and not do as much as he could have done with that team. But yeah, they have 8 picks. Obviously, none in the first. I don't know how you don't get a first for DeAndre Hopkins. They have 3 in the 7th. I just don't. And I'm sorry. I want to go even longer, but we've been long on this in the first place.
Dave,
so
why do we care about protecting Deshaun Watson? He's going to get traded for a 7th in the washing machine.
That's a fact.
Just because Bill O'Brien.
So the last thing I want to ask before we close out here, we just talked about the 6 teams. Which one of these 6 are going to be trading partners for the Jags and this Niners? Both teams, Jags have multiple picks. They're probably going to trade one of them and get out. Niners want to get out. One of these 6 is going to want to get back in, or 2. Who do we see more likely? Do we see the Steelers jumping back in to address receiver or something? Do we see the Colts coming back in?
Colts are the team
are sitting pat. The Texans might want to get back in.
Yeah, it might be Houston.
3rd rounders.
Yeah, but you have to see what.
And Deshaun Watson. They're probably going to trade Deshaun.
Yeah, that's true.
To go get Jalen Hurts. They're going to trade with the Niners to go get Hurts in the 1st round. They're going to trade Deshaun.
Another question, though, Alex, is who wants another pick? Like you're talking about teams that want to get in.
Yeah.
What like the teams that are in the Dallas and the Philadelphia tier that want to get in?
Patriots.
Like, maybe
the Patriots will go and guard. Like Belichick will find a way to get more picks and get more players, and then they're going to win a Super Bowl again.
This is the problem. That's New England's going to be New England might be a surprise team to trade out just to wrap this up.
Well, they need to help Jameis Winston. Who's going to be there?
Absolutely not.
Cam
This is just going to be
one of them.
Yes, I'm going to wrap this sucker up on myself here, Alex. Please. A team, as K-Doc just mentioned, a team that might want to get out that we don't see coming, New England. New England might just load up on picks next year. Belichick is not going to tank this next season. He has the pride not to tank. He's not going to do it. He's going to be a subpar team, like 7-8 win team, and he's going to trade his haul to get one of the quarterbacks.
I didn't know 12 wins became 7.
Trevor Lawrence.
They're going to win 12 games.
Yeah,
They're not winning 12 games this season.
Okay.
It's not happening with that quarterback
Until I
position.
see it.
It's not Alex. You know darn well it's not
Matt
happening.
Castle won 12 games.
It's not happening.
Castle.
Oh, Matt Castle won 10 games. That's all.
He's a trash bag.
11.
He won 11. He won 11. But no, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. They have nothing at the quarterback position. They lost a ton of needs. It's not like everyone's still there, Alex. If everything was still there and you just lost Brady, different story. They don't have any receivers.
Belichick.
Nothing. No, I don't care. No. I see 8 wins. I think it's Jets and Buffalo. Buffalo is going to be a problem next season in the AFC, and especially in the AFC East. And the Jets, if they address some offensive needs, they are also going to be a problem once a healthy defense comes back.
Tell us the Jets are going to finish. If you tell us the Jets are going to finish high, they're going to win 3 games. Say they're going to finish with
No.
It's really like those old.
Okay.
It's really like those 2000 Yankees teams. Until I see the Patriots actually get below there, it's not. I don't believe it.
I'm with that.
I'm gonna put a bow on this sucker. This is the Personal Foul podcast. I want to thank this whole group of guys from the Sports Opinions Podcast Network. And this guy decides to not mute his mic, but this is the Sports Opinions Podcast Network. Alex Cuesta from the Sports Opinions Podcast and Cuesta Dose. Alex, thanks for coming on, buddy.
You're welcome. Quickly, I'm recording tomorrow night with Damon Talbot for Sports Opinion Podcast. He's the owner of NFL Draft Diamonds. So we're going to be talking some draft stuff. And I have a cool thing getting started. 32 different fans giving us perspective after the draft about their teams. It's going to be awesome. For the fans, Sports Opinions, that's what we are. So stay tuned for some cool stuff.
Yes, sir. He's going to have some great
And
shows
thank you,
loaded up. No problem, man. Thanks for coming on. Also from Cuesta Dose, David Cuesta, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah,
hit your way. Love to wrap up with the Texans.
I wish my internet didn't hate me just for that singular moment, but I'm still happy I got to do it.
Don't worry, we all hate you still.
Dave, great job, buddy. Appreciate it. K-Doc, also late add-in on this, but check out Kyle Doctor, the We Are Young But Just Us podcast, also part of the Sports Opinions Podcast Network.
Yeah,
K-Doc has some great shows. K-Doc, anything new coming up?
Sorry, my man. So we're Young But Just Us, but if you want to find it on the whole network, it's going to be the abbreviation. So if you see something that says
you have your own page now. I'm going to cut you off. You have your own page now. Search for We're Young But Just Us anywhere you can find a podcast. just like Personal Foul Podcast, Quest to Dose,
Nice.
Playbook, when it eventually starts getting more episodes out. I think after the draft, you're going to get going, Rob.
We are.
And when I convince Santos to finally do a show, Santos and company will eventually be there because I'm going to convince him. But
Once you get me a partner.
all you have to do is search for any of the names that you hear, and you'll find it anywhere you find a podcast. Go ahead, Doxar.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks, my man. And I'm sorry for your ratings that I'm not officially on your page anymore. But
You see this ensemble? They weren't good anyway.
so on a serious note, yeah, you'll find me there. I just talked with everybody's favorite coach, Coach Fence, and we had a great discussion about spring sports. I'll say it on here, and I want to say it to him. He's a little bit over optimistic on spring sports, but we talk about the scenarios and like you want to get some insight on how long it takes to prep for football. And in this situation, you can hear that. Talk about his career and just because he's moved around a bit, and Disney. He's a big Disney guy, so we talk about that. I don't know what's next right now because I think it's a very interesting situation, obviously. But I'm going to be reaching out to a couple people, hope to have some fun stuff, especially if you're into the nerd culture. But of course, sports stuff, I love to have looking out for Rutgers people. I love talking about them. So you never know what could happen in the future. No promises right now.
Yes,
but
sir.
Yeah, keep checking out.
Yes, sir. Check out K-Doc stuff. Great content. Next up, special guest. Thanks for coming on, Matt. We're got to get you a show. Hey, if you need a tag team partner, I'll slide in with you, my man. You know what's up. But Matt, thanks for coming on. Great show. Appreciate it.
That would be a hell of a show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I only have one rule. My name goes first. I don't care about alphabetical, anything else. I am 1A, you are 1B. That's that. And those are my terms for a show. So if you want, come check it out.
The Ronaldo and Ring show.
Wow. And sliding in at the very end here from the playbook, Robert Player coming at the end.
Yes,
I know you're trying to get some more content going football-wise. Draft here as our show just went. Draft coming up. I'm expecting more content here from Rob.
It's coming. It's coming. After the draft, we're back on it. I'm going to get Joe back on, so we're going to do it. But I got to – okay, so playbook, all that, whatever. 3 points. This has to be on record because I've never felt more strong about something.
Here
Ready?
we go.
CeeDee Lamb is Odell. He's DeAndre Hopkins. He's that caliber player. He's Jets, please. If it's please. This is he's him.
They're going to pick Mims.
That's what. That's one. 2, Ashton Davis. Ashton Davis is a great football player. We're gonna find that out. I promise you, Ashton Davis is a great football player. Next and last thing, please, Chargers, take Herbert. Chargers, please. He can't. Don't let him slip because if he slips, he's gonna.
He needs home fans to play in front of him.
Just don't give him more than 1 week.
He can't slip.
Yeah,
Please
if no one
don't
can
let
watch
Justin
him, then he
Herbert
can't
slip.
fail.
Hey, Rob, Cole, I know you want to wrap it up, but since Rob wasn't here at the beginning, out of the top 5 or top 10 area picks, which team do you think is going to be the biggest shocker with their pick out of the top 10 teams?
That's a good question.
Just because you weren't here at the beginning.
Okay. The Dolphins with the Tua connection, I really don't think they go Tua. I think they do something else. I just think that might be the big because they've been linked so long. Really think so.
What are they gonna do?
I don't see that's.
I'm sorry,
Herbert. I would think Herbert. I would think higher on Herbert than they are.
Get
on
a guy
Tua.
that can sign his name correctly on the Wonderlic.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the shock that Tua slips. Tua slipping just because of the injury, and I mean, it's not a shock for some people, but if I had to say what I think, that would be what I would.
So are you telling me Miami is not taking a quarterback there? Because you know darn well Tua was going to go 6 if Miami does not go quarterback.
If they let him go, I'm saying I think if there's anything likely to happen, I think that would be the thing likely. I mean, I saw something somewhere. I don't think this is possible, but I saw something about the Giants even being high on a quarterback and going out and
Herbert.
I don't believe it. I saw
Herbert. I saw Herbert.
Yeah,
You missed my theory, Rob. My
Herbert.
theory is that the Patriots.
All right, no, I'm done.
Herbert's going to get Daniel Jones.
No, that's it. No, we're done. I'm not hearing this bogus stuff again. This is the Personal Foul Podcast. You can find the podcast anywhere you find the podcast. All right, this guy. @foul_podcast on Twitter. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. And check out the Sports Opinion Podcast Network. That's a wrap.
So long, everybody.
Deuce.